All right, so this is going to be a video on how to do the research paper, which is a larger requirement for this class. I'm going to start off with when it's due, then I will go into the instructions for it, and then I will go into some APA as well. If you feel really confident with APA, just feel free to turn it off before I get into that. If you do not know about APA, you have never written a collegiate paper before, please stay on this video for the entire way so that you can get a sense of how to write a paper in APA style. The first thing is that I already have the assignments up for you guys. So in research paper, which will be the 4th module here on Canvas, it says research paper requirement. Both of these assignments will already be open. So July 7th and then July 28th are when they are going to be due this summer. Once again, it is a really fast-paced class. So mark this on your calendar or have the syllabus printed out so you know when both of these are going to happen. We've got the rough draft research paper, which is just 10 points, and I will go a little bit more into that. And then we have the final draft research paper, which is 30 points. So it's a total of 40 for this assignment. Please, if you are feeling any hesitation about writing a research paper about child development, childhood theory, milestones, development, anything like that, please make sure that you email me with the topic that you want to go over so that I can give you some theorists that you might want to research, some areas that you might want to look into, or just feedback on your topic as well. And then also make sure that you do a research paper because I will give you written feedback on how you did and ways that you can improve it so you get a much better grade on your final draft, which is worth 30 points. All right, so I'm gonna hit the Child Development 100 research paper right here. So these are the instructions for this assignment. So what you are expected to do is to find a topic relevant to child development and that is of interest to you, and that is the biggest hint or piece of advice is don't pick something that you think I want to read about. I don't really care. I will read anything on child development. I love all areas of it. Find something that's interesting to you. So if you're a music lover, you could look at music in children. If you have asthma, you could write a paper on asthma. If you want to be a teacher, you could write on a theorist. There are just so many areas that you can go into. So what is it about children that you find interesting? That's what you should be writing about. And you should also email me so that I can say, hey, you know what? I love this idea. Let's tweak it a little bit. Here are some areas that you could research, or here are some good books or texts that I know of. Then you need to have at least 2 resources in order of scholarly research that supports your topic. So I would prefer 3 or 4, but 2 is the absolute minimum. If you use the internet, the sources must be credible, and they must be accurate, and they must be from a site that I would accept. So a Blogspot, BuzzFeed, and even some news sources are not credible or accurate. So most likely if it has a .edu, it came from our Palomar library website, or it is from a credible site with an author that is coming from the field of child development, then that is acceptable. If you have any concerns about the credibility or the accurateness of the source that you have picked, please just send me the link and ask me any questions you have about it. And I'd be more than happy to take a look at it, look at the author's credentials, see what website it's from, and see if maybe it's a credible source, or maybe not, we can find you another one. Formulate an outline. You also need to have an outline. An outline is a really good way of kind of how you want to structure your paper, because you're going to have an introduction with a paragraph 1 or 2 that describes the topic. You could have a question that you want to pose and that you're going to answer in the body of the paper, or points of views, differing explanations, the scope of it as well. So if you were talking about asthma, you could say this many people have asthma, this people don't. We've seen asthma in the Bible and in all kinds of historical areas throughout history. So that might be something that you could talk about. Research section. In this area, this is the biggest part, and this is the core of your research section. It's going to be many paragraphs. It needs to be at least 2. It needs to be at least, I would say, 5 to 6 paragraphs and probably 2 to 3 pages. This is the core your information where you discuss scientific evidence, so scholarly books, journals, And then in the research section, you're also going to summarize the findings and state how it relates to your topic. So once again, if you're talking about asthma, you could talk all about the research that medical doctors and researchers have been talking about newest breakthroughs in asthma, that at the very end of the research section, you would summarize it and say it's really important that we give money to research funding for asthma so that children can continue to grow up. In the last paragraphs, 1 to 2 paragraphs, you are going to kind of synthesize it and analyze it. So not just summarize it, but say, hey, this was great. What I read this, I really enjoyed that. I didn't so much agree with this. This is important. The conclusions that I've drawn about asthma and how important continued research is, and what an ongoing problem it is, how we need more publicity raised in order to highlight the importance of asthma. So you need to follow this. If you follow these steps, then you will write a great paper. This has to be APA. And so I put a basic tutorial right here. And then I've also put some other sources that I will show you in just a little bit. This is the rough draft grading rubric. So each one is 1 point. So if you have a topic, you get 1 point. If you have a question or an introduction, then it's 1 point. If you have scientific evidence, it's 1 point. If you have research, it's 1 point. If you have questions are addressed, it's 1 point. So all of those are 1 point, and that's for a total of 10 points on your research paper, which is due July 7th. This is the final grading rubric. You need to follow APA, and I will be grading for that. If it's not on time, you will lose a total of 15 points. And then I have these different points for these 30 points as well. So that is the rubric that I have for the research paper, the rough draft, and the final draft, which are all due in July. All right, so here we are back to this module on the research paper requirements. This is up and ready and waiting for you guys to dive into it. Right now, I am going to talk about APA. So if you feel really comfortable with APA and you don't have any questions or concerns, go ahead and you can stop watching this video. If you'd like to, you can come back to it at a later time, and feel free to watch this video as many times as you need in order to understand the instructions and also to understand APA. What we have for you is we have a couple of quick guides for you to help you with APA. So if you need a refresher, this is great. If you are just learning APA for the first time, this is also a great place to go as well. So this is a quick reference guide. It talks about margins and fonts and double space. So this is important as well. There's going to be running heads and headers and headings as well. This is more if you feel very familiar with Canvas. This is a great checklist to make sure that you've hit all those points and you won't be dinged any points by not having this in your APA. Here is a quick reference guide as well, and this is also very similar. You probably want to be generally familiar with APA, but this will show you how to write a paper. So your very first page of any APA paper is going to be the title page, which is right here. Then you'll have the abstract, which tells me about what you're going to be writing about. Then you will have on the third page is where your actual writing will begin. You'll have 1 to 2 pages, 1 to 2 paragraphs for an introduction. Then you'll have many paragraphs as your research section, and then you'll have a couple of paragraphs for your conclusion. So the actual paper starts on page 3 and it'll go to at least page 5. And then on page 6, 7, or whenever you wrap it up, you will have a reference page as well. So this would be a great place for you to start if you need a bit more additional help with writing APA. Another great source as well is our Palomar College Child Development Department Success Guide. And once again, this is a PDF. It is both up on Canvas, and it's also if you Google Palomar Child Development Department Success Guide, this will pop up as a PDF and you can access it at any time at home. It's a great resource. It has all about our department. It has student activity cards if you have any you have more questions about observations. But the best thing is that starting on page 52, we have all of this about writing guidelines for child development. This is going to tell you all about APA. These are some fantastic research websites, and I will show you one of them as well. And this is great for doing research and also will help you write an APA. And then this is a sample of what your paper would look like. So you're going to have a running head, then you're going to have the title all in caps, then you'll have an abstract, then you'll have the paper as well. So this is very similar to what we have that I just showed you, the checklist, and also a credibility checklist for informational literacy. So if you are not sure if your source or your site is very good, here is a credibility checklist. So it will help you be able to answer questions about if it's credible as well. Another great one, and this also talks about plagiarism. So if you're confused if you've plagiarized or not, then we have some flow charts and some checklists as well to help you. I'm going to show you another fantastic resource here at Palomar that is totally free. And that is our Palomar Library website. Although I strongly urge you to go to our Palomar Library, it is gorgeous. If you want to see 360-degree views of San Marcos, the mountains, Escondido, Rancho Bernardo, go to the library. It is amazing. And it's really beautiful. And if you just need someplace to go, chill out, read a great book, and charge in your iPhone or your laptop, go there. There are like charging docking stations all over. So it is fantastic. Also, we have some group study rooms that are also really, really beautiful as well. And then we have them all over. We have them in Escondido, we have them in Rancho Bernardo campus, and we also have them at the San Marcos one as well. So the best thing is that we have on this left-hand side is we have research help, we have faculty, we have other libraries, we have interlibrary loans. So if you need something from Cal State San Marcos, you need something from UCLA, we can get that for you. You just need to order it through the library over here. We also have information literacy services as well. And one of the best things that we have is our librarians. Free of charge, you can go in and you can talk to a librarian and you can get some help trying to find the research that you need. I think also I will show you our databases. This is where you can find your journals. And this, most likely, if you're on a database, your scholarly research is going to be fairly good. So let's say we wanted to, let's find, yeah, so let's say you wanted to write about vegan and vegetarian diets, and are they a good source of protein and vitamins and minerals for young children? Then you could go to the database, you could look up diabetics, you could look up dietetics, you could look up health. There are lots of databases that we have that could give you scholarly information on vegetarian and vegan diets for young children. I've had lots of people write on that topic. So then once you click on it, the databases is going to give you all of the information about, it'll download the database for you. I seem to be having some connection problems, but here is all of them. So if you wanted to do something about theater in young children, or you wanted to look at natural medicines and see is natural medicines good for or safe for infants and young children, you could go to our natural medicines database and library that we have all here. If you had something from the New York Times that you saw, but then you lost the article or it's behind a firewall, here are all of the full text journal articles within our Palomar College Library. So please use that to help you as well. We also have some library guides. So this is a great way to find guides for searching our libraries as well. So that is our Palomar Library. So yes, this also could give you like child development. These are all types of really great information from other instructors that have put in ways to do research as well for a 100 class. So library research guides, videos, and printed work to support you as well. All right, so let's say that you are struggling with writing APA. You need to go to Purdue University and you need to type in Online Writing Lab or OWL, and this page will come up, and this is fantastic. You go to APA Guide, and they will tell you everything you could ever want to know about APA. So an overview and workshop, introductions, formatting and style guides. They even give you a paper to show you exactly what it looks like. I still use this site regularly. Somebody asked me, hey, how do I cite a white paper, which is kind of like a working policy paper? I was like, I used to know that, but I don't have that at the top of my brain right now. So I went to OWL Writing Lab, and it gave me my answer about citing a white paper right away. So this is a great source that I still continue to use. So I have given you a large amount of information. So I've told you when the research papers are due. I've given you the written instructions. And then for the last couple of minutes, I've been going over APA style. If you're feeling really like you're still struggling with writing a paper, once again, the library is a great site. And then also at Palomar College as well, we also have our English Department Writing Center. And it's not just for English Department majors, it's for anybody who needs to be able to write. And writing is a big component of any kind of multidisciplinary or liberal arts education, and it's also going to be a big part of this class. So if you need to have a little bit more support, this is the English Department Writing Center's website. So it will give you information about how to make an appointment, what you should bring for a tutoring session, so you're not just kind of staring at each other, and so they can help you. So please know that this is all the information. You can call, and if you need any kind of help, or if you want to know if you're you can call at any time, and you can also make an appointment as well by going to the front to scheduling an appointment in person at the front desk, which is in Building H, number 102, or you can call as well. All right, so that is it for this video on research and writing the research paper and using APA. I hope this has been helpful, and please watch it as many times as you need, and also email me at any time if you need more support. Thanks so much. I'll see you online.